Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. I'm just playing. All right. Now, when I be doing Sunday bars, like I'll go through the energies of whatever I'm doing a Sunday bars over, and I guess this Sunday bars is gonna piss so many. Watch this. I'm gonna give you a choice. It's gonna piss so many people off, or energies that run people off. Y'all so scared of pissing people off instead of pissing off the energies that make people move like puppets. Stop being scared of people and deal with the energies that run them. Just think about it. I don't feel like it. We're victims and slaves to. I want to feel good, or I don't feel like it. I feel full. Uncle Phil out here. All right. Welcome to a different Sunday Bars. It's May 29th, 2022. About time for some new stuff. I'm at a crossroads in my life when it comes to this topic. It was two of them. The first one, Westernized gender wars are over and patriarchy never existed in America. That's one. I like that one. But there's a war on accountability and cause and effect and karma in America big time. So I literally looked at this one like, okay. The second one is participation karma connected to this man-made gender war. Because if this man-made gender war, and again, I mean man-made so-called gender war, is happening, and you're on the winning side or a so-called winning side of the war, and you don't study wars of so-called bigger winning sides, you got to act a certain way in a war. You guys are doing war crimes. If this is a gender war, y'all doing some war crimes. You know war crimes get looked at after wars on both sides. Today is Sunday, May 29th, 2022. Jason, what is your show intentions? The show intentions is to help compatible listeners. Man, I ain't feeling that. Compatible listeners. Man, you listening to that? Compatible listeners who probably shouldn't even be on your page unless they're compatible listeners. And if they're talking crazy, that means they're not compatible listeners. And you don't treat people like that in real life, but on social media, you let them hang around. Not here. So uncompatible listeners, I listen to them and I hit that block button. Matumbo, baby. Shout out to Matumbo. Shout out to Matumbo. Helping compatible listeners to see what type of soldier they have been. Remember in this this is a so-called gender war. Oh, I'm a soldier. Oh, I get what he's saying. Helping compatible listeners to see what type of soldier they have been in this old Cold War. Better known as the so-called gender wars. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. All right. Would you agree that every war has a goal? If these two pencils were going to war, they would both have a goal of the war, right? Nobody just goes to war without a goal, right? Okay. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody here. That is, look, we're starting really simple, okay? If this pencil wanted to go to war with this pencil, come on, y'all, stay with me. This pencil will have some type of goal for this war. This pencil would have a goal for this war, okay? Okay. So, would you agree that every war has a goal? Hopefully you're still with me. Yes. Then congratulations. The goal of this so-called gender war was reached long time ago. We are not in a gender war anymore. I repeat, we are not in a gender war anymore. We are the children of post-gender wars with an S. We are children of post-gender wars. So we are history soldiers now. Plant your flag. We're in a gender war. No, you're history soldiers. Because that happened a long time ago. We are fighting the lies of his stories of what we are and what I would say and who our so-called enemies are. Because everybody wants enemies, right? We always got to fight. Guess who you've been fighting? In this man-made gender war, the participants and non-participants will be judged on so many levels. Nuh-uh, they let me do what I need to do. You will be judged on so many levels. Nuh-uh, I get away with this. I can get away. You will be judged on so many levels. Well, I ain't getting judged on this level. You will be judged on so many levels. Remember, the oldest war known to man is the war of ignorance versus knowledge. And any clever person would know that knowledge is older. So I said the oldest war is against ignorance and knowledge, but knowledge is older than ignorance. You know why? While ignorance is very new and it keeps coming up with more ways to reinvent its ignorant self, knowledge is. It doesn't change. Ignorance reinvents itself. Now back to this man-made gender war. Okay? So, nowadays, girls are being born and bred to be mad at men. And girls are being born and bred to be mad at men, and boys are being born and bred to be mad at women. Question. Have you ever seen a little girl go off on her father? I'm talking about a little girl. Or have you witnessed a little boy throwing a tantrum on his mother? Can anyone define American black patriarchy? Like, define it. Like, give me the definition. Give it to me. And all I'm going to say is, why is it called black patriarchy? So that basically means, if you're calling it the black something, it might have came from, also you're copying. So it came from, patriarchy probably didn't have black in front of it, and it was probably just called patriarchy. And that's where the man comes home from work, has dinner with his family, and does it all over again, on top of oppressing women. Because remember, the patriarchy oppresses women too, right? Or, because we're talking about black people now, or was that so-called patriarchy really just black survival within years of being born in a patriarchy that existed outside of black culture and forced itself on our ancestors, and some took the bait? And the ones that didn't take the bait, well, hell, it's not smart to give marketing and advertising to the ones that didn't take the bait. Now let's talk about who children really belong to in Western culture. For you to understand this war and how you're being manipulated in it, let's break down who children really belong to in Western culture, which differs from many international traditions of parenting. Now, do you feel saying only one parent can be right is literally insane, right? If I literally generalize, like, check out this general statement. If it's the father, then it's smart. or only mothers need to raise children? Do you feel saying only one parent can be right is literally insane? Let me try it. Only one parent can be right. Yeah, that sounds insane. Because I don't even know how that parent studies, how that parent wants to be a parent, how that parent knows how to take care of children. Or you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say only one parent can be right. It's so much to unpack of what this possible parent can be, right? Okay. Well, in Western culture, a woman can have children with 5 different men. And she doesn't even have to know these guys. And she will keep all of the children. Because in Western culture, the children generally belong to the mother. Now, this is funny. Imagine one man getting 5 women pregnant in Western culture. And he thinks he is getting to keep 1 or even all 5 of the children. That is laughable here. Now, those are 2 extreme examples. Now, again, oh my God, he's talking about 5. Have the ability, because if I say Humpty Dumpty, are you going to go back and say, oh my God, he was talking about this egg that couldn't sit down and cracked? No, that was an example. So, that is genius. This section of this system is genius at keeping humans divided because it's built off of arguments, disagreements, fights, and growing apart, which are all guaranteed realities that come with short-term and long-term human interactions. I'm going to say that again. I'm not saying I'm on a woman's side or on the man's side. I'm analyzing the system. I'm analyzing Babylon. And you can spell baby and Babylon in the same. Okay. This section of the system is genius. What is it genius for? At keeping humans divided. Because it's built off of, what is it built off of? It's built off of arguments. All it knows that humans are going to argue. It's built off of arguments. What do you mean? Oh, go get married. Go get in a relationship. Go do legal stuff. Built off of love. Yeah. And y'all do legal stuff built off of business. Yeah. This section of the system is genius at keeping humans divided because it's built off of arguments, disagreements, fights, growing apart, which are all guaranteed. They even say it in the marriage vows, for better or worse. See, they almost choked me. That's so funny. I really did choke. For better or worse, how many worse conversations have y'all had? No, we don't talk about the worst. Well, the worst, it said for better or worse. Y'all got like a SWOT analysis for your love life? No, we only do that in business. Let's move on. We are in a war of number ones. Remember the sperm analogy. Hopefully she doesn't see this. I went to the bank. And I'm not going to say what bank, but again. Well, hopefully she does see this and gets mad. Because she said, well, my banker, and she's a really big banker. She told me she didn't like me when she first saw me because she thought I was arrogant. And I said, that's kind of your problem, right? Because clearly she felt she was wrong, but she didn't like me because she was wrong about the perception of what she thought of me, right? And she said, yeah, I thought you was arrogant. And I said, I told her about the sperm analogy about how basically everybody tried to live in your mom and they all died except you. It's called sperm swimming. So as soon as they got to your mom, you were swimming. So the sperm were alive. And everybody wanted to live. Everybody was swimming to the egg, trying to live, because everybody started off as a sperm cell, trying to live. And you were the only one that lived in your mom. Everybody else died. And I said, remember they told us that in elementary school? And guess what she said? Yeah. I said, I believed it. I believed it. And I put this on everything I love. She was like, oh, that's deep. Oh, that's deep. She see the power of a conversation, but again, she was like, that's deep. So I was like, oh, you don't think I'm arrogant anymore? Because we do have talks about children too, and depression and suicide. And I said, let's go back to what you said. You didn't like me because you thought I liked myself on a high level. Would you rather have arrogance or depression? Man, these children are so depressed. These children, this is what we're saying now. But guess what they were saying back then when we was children? You think you arrogant. You think you somebody. Shout out to the baby boomers and older generation X. Yeah, I said it. Y'all was the one saying, you think you cute. You think you tough. Hold on, I have to shut this part off. Y'all remember that, right? Yeah, y'all remember that. But now we're saying, you are somebody. You are enough. Choose the side of the realest war, that war. Choose that realest side of that war, and that war will never end. Now, I'm looking at this war on the third dimensional reality. That's physical reality. So you're going to be here for this test as long as you're going to be here. So it's called the third dimension, right? You're the earth. You're here. Okay? So the realest war, I'm telling you, you only have to focus on this war. They going against education. Just focus on this war. Man, it's going to be a food shortage. Just focus on this war. One war first, and then everything else, and then focus on everything, but this war first. And one-sided never wins the wars. So this one side of this war, it never wins the wars. Yes, congratulations. It never wins the wars. Stop clapping. What do you mean? Stop clapping? Stop clapping. Why? Because it never wins the wars. That's why I was clapping. Stop clapping. Because it wins many battles with some people. Now, remember the war of all wars, the oldest war of all wars, is the war of ignorance versus knowledge. And this man-made gender war is more of a smaller battle. So again, this man-made gender war is more of a smaller battle to the many wars that ignorance co-creates. This man-made gender war is more of a smaller battle to the many wars that ignorance co-creates. So the other topic that I was talking about, participation karma connected to this man-made gender war. I don't care who you think you are. You're not going to war with karma. I don't care. You're not. So, participation karma connected to this man-made gender war. Well, what's the definition of participation? The action of taking part in something. The action of taking part in something. Karma, in Hindu and Buddhism, the sum of a person's actions in this and various states of existence, viewed as deciding their fate and future existences. Although I'm more of a law of cause and effect man myself. That's what I am. Y'all can say karma, y'all can say reaping and sowing. I'm more of a cause and effect man. Man-made definition, because again, we're going back to analyzing the definition of participation karma connected to this man-made gender war. Man-made definition. Made or caused by human beings as opposed to occurring or being made naturally, artificial. Let me say that, hold on. Man-made definition. Made or caused by human beings as opposed to occurring or being made naturally, artificial. Gender war definition. A so-called war that is occurring online and offline between males and females. Okay, so on one hand, you have families pushing the narrative. So you have females. And again, Jason, do you think I just told you I'm reading this is Family Feud right now. So you know how they get survey says they did a survey. So this is not me. This is a survey. Watch this. What survey? What statistics? Get out of here. On one hand, you have females pushing the narrative that all men are misogynistic, abusers, narcissistic, and uncaring. On the other hand, you have males pushing the narrative that females are superficial, only caring about looks, money, fame, height, etc. That was in the bubble. Unloyal, curious, easily swayed. How sway? No, easily swayed. Promiscuous, dishonest, and inherently evil. Wow, you gonna put out that for the women? I'm just telling you. These are some bad people. These two narratives have caused both males and females. Why don't you say men and women? Nah, I ain't calling these people men and women. Oh, I get what you're doing. These two narratives have caused both males and females, online and in person, to harass and bully each other to the point where both genders appear to be at war with each other. If you go out in the real world, you'll see that there are good people associated with both genders. The majority of the men out here are very loving and humble. And meanwhile, the majority of women out here are in the real world are loyal and kind-hearted. Watch this. Are loyal and kind-hearted. Watch this. And again, shout out to Haiti. I got into it with my homegirl. She's Haitian. I'm not going to say her name, but she could be looking at this in the future. She ain't looking at it right now. She's probably being lazy in Miami. But I'm going to talk about this because this was a download I will never forget. I didn't even have to write this down. She feels like you can kind of make man do what you want to do. And look what I'm doing with my head. And you can, because guess what? Puppets work down. Puppets never work up. Haven't you noticed that? When you a puppet master, you work down. You don't work up. How many puppets the string, that don't even make sense. So puppets work down. I said a woman can't treat a man like a puppet when she's looking up to him. It's impossible. She's looking up to him. Well, what about when she gets on his level? Well, you took geometry, hopefully. If her head starts going down at this angle, then what works? So, Jason, hold on. Are you saying pimping only works when you looking down? Pimping don't work looking up? All I say is, find me somebody who pimps up, or who's a player up, or who max up, or who's a con artist up. Whatever your manipulation tactic is, it only works down. It doesn't work up. Because again, dang, should I give some pimping bars? I'm gonna give some pimping bars. Just because I feel like that. I'm gonna give some pimping bars. True pimping bars says, never mess with somebody that you like. Mess with somebody that likes you. See what I did? Don't mess with nobody you like. Mess with people that like you. Now remember, I'm a cause and effect man. You can do that, but the cause and effect means your neck is made to look up. So come on, please, you're going to look up. So guess what you're probably doing? Be careful. Be careful with your superpowers. Be careful with your magic. Johnson's. All right. Hopefully that made sense, but okay. Okay. We're done. I think we're done with that part. Yeah, with a boy. That part can get hairy. Okay. Most balanced men and women are good people with good morals. This man-made gender war will make you believe the opposite. If men and women didn't temporarily get along, then nobody would be born, right? So let's start there. Let's start at that little tiny part where Western humans get along. Because we do know it's real. Think about it. Everybody fights. Everybody's breaking up. I'm hearing all types of stories. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the little small part in American love lives where, oh my God, I'm going to overlook that. I'm not going to cuss you out. Oh my God, he didn't open the door for me, and I was raised to be like, girl, if he don't open the door for you, he don't love you. What if that dude loves you and would die for you, but he just he wasn't raised to open doors? God. But let's go to the part where we overlook all that. Okay? So we know we get along. So why do we go from this sweet spot to, you just made me mad. I'm about to put you through a system. You don't even know you're doing it because older gender soldiers, did you say no limit soldiers? I said no. Older gender soldiers groom younger gender soldiers to carry the torch to keep this man-made gender war going and growing, even though it ended a long time ago. Jason, why you keep saying the war ended? Because every war has a goal, and the goal has been reached. We were born to keep this stupid war going, figuratively and literally. Did the black gender war happen when integration happened and then came the 1960s, or no? Tariq Nasheed asked if this man-made gender war was real, or is it so-called white supremacy tactic being manufactured? Many of them believe that white supremacists are behind many fake accounts to help encourage black women to go against black men. Noble Drew Ali said, "Be careful, Moors. Some of your own will put you back into slavery." Noble Drew Ali. Some people believe that this man-made gender war really started during slavery. So did slavery reverse our roles? Hold on, ring, 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 ring. The haters want to talk. Come on, haters, what y'all want to say? Just face it. The black man was conquered, and they don't deserve our respect. Haters, say that one more time. Just face it. The black man was conquered, and they don't deserve our respect. I thought that's what you said. Do you want to hear the response to that? Yeah, there's no response, but yeah, I want to hear it. Okay. We don't run things because we didn't create this environment. Yes, some black men and some black women of the past were temporarily conquered. But conquered people don't revolt and rise up. So-called white supremacy had to create a more docile slaves. So they began to start creating and breeding slave farms. Jason, that's deep. No, it's not. Y'all watch slave movies? Yes. Were people born during slavery? Yeah. They did have babies and stuff. Oh, they were allowed to have sex. Yeah. I get where you're going with that. No, it's just the beginning. So, white supremacy had to create, or so-called white supremacy had to create a more docile slave, so they can start creating and breeding slave farms. So nowadays, all black men and all black women are birthed into this racist system and narrative with built-in roles in zodiac signs. Yay! You can't conquer babies out the womb. You can only socialize them. They weren't dominated. They were actually created through our lovely dating and marriage system, with incentives in place that easily divide families off the emotional disagreements of the parents and the advice they take from stupid friends and family members of the actual parents. Watch this. According to my opinion, according to history, I'll say it again. You can't conquer babies out the womb. You can only socialize them. They weren't dominated. They were actually, hold on, you saying little boys weren't conquered black men from white supremacy? No, they were boys. How do you conquer babies? God, how do you conquer babies? Oh, that little black male was just born into this. He didn't even get a chance. And I was saying he was conquered, and I was treating him like the old. You can't conquer babies out the womb. You can only socialize them. They weren't dominated. They were actually created through our lovely dating and marriage system. Something's working, guys. Something's working. Blacks were created to serve and be divided. Check this out. This is not my opinion. I'm piecing together history to make a point here. Blacks were created to serve and be divided. To serve and be divided. For the progression of this system. According to the system outcomes, the men were created to be beasts of burden, and the women were created to breed, new docile slave. Nope, I didn't call them slave. New docile participators. Let's say it like that. Docile participators, according to the history I laid out there. And they must too eventually go against the very male participators they co-create and birthed. Translation, or the number one sperm cell that made it to their egg. Hold on. So we calling all these people high value men or high value women? No. Every one of y'all are higher than higher value. You're higher than the higher value women. You're higher than the higher value men. You're the number one sperm cell that lived in your mom. You're the number one sperm cell on the planet. Literally, that's what we are according to science. I'm not trying to make you feel good. I'm telling you what science is saying. I'm a high value man. I'm a high value woman. No, you're the number one sperm cell. I'm a twin. Well, y'all even doper. We triplets. Icing, put icing on the cake, you just put icing on doper. That's why, now check this out. Now really feel me on this. Now again, I'm African American or I'm black or whatever you want to call me, right? But they said, Jason, can you put yourself into white supremacist shoes of how they would look at y'all? And I said, man, I'm going to try. All right, I'm going to try. Now, if we created Frankenstein, right? Like the Frankenstein movies. So just say we was all creating Frankenstein. And then Frankenstein lived. And then Frankenstein started having babies. And then Frankensteins, it was little Frankensteins. And then Frankensteins would go like this. Jason, we want equal rights. You'll be like, man, get out of here, Frankensteins. I just created y'all. Get out of here. I'm not going to... get away from me, man. I'm not going to give y'all... And then the Frankensteins is like, we want equal rights. And you like, y'all see these Frankensteins? Remember we created them last week? Look at them. They want equal rights to us. No Frankensteins. And then they get stronger and they start wearing suits like us. I'm like, look at the Frankensteins. They wearing suits like us and talking like us. Look at the little Frankensteins trying to talk like me. Look. You get what I'm saying? You would be like, according to the Frankenstein analogy, stop trying to be philosophical right now if you're not getting it. If you can get this, I'm using this analogy to tell you how I'm viewing what I'm about to say next. I created the Frankensteins. The Frankensteins shouldn't be trying to be like me. Well, according to slavery and us being freed slaves, and then us wanting civil rights, that scared the hell out of them because they was like, why? We can't figure out how you didn't accept your place that you were born into. That's why other races look at blacks the way they do, because we are considered. Jason said they are. I said they are considered. We are considered. They are considered. Jason called himself, I said considered. Because we are considered Frankenstein created slaves. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I get that. I get that. You talking about that can jump from free throw line and their name is Michael Jordan and Carl Lewis and Frederick Douglass. So again, these so-called Frankensteins are doing really dope stuff and creating most of the inventions where you're at. Is that what you're saying? According to science, in a slave state. So they're not even in their highest state. Are they happy? Nah, they really depressed. Hold on, so most of y'all inventions are coming from depressed creators in hell? Yeah. Dang, they must be dope. There was no Macy's during slavery. I wonder who even made the clothes. So they even made the clothes when they were enslaved? Dang, they are dope. Now, Jason, don't call us Frankenstein created slaves. Well, I'll say, well, let's go to Ancestry.com. I'll talk to you according to Ancestry.com. Because I'm tired of black people being considered lower. Let's just use science to go higher, right? If they go lower, you go higher. So let's go higher. According to Ancestry.com, haven't you noticed you see black people say, I got some of this in me. I got some of this in me. I got that. 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 Right? Just black people. Watch this. It's different forms of black. I know that's why I said black people. Calm down, philosophical. This is not the philosophical time right now. This is science time. So here we go. We have the genetic markers of so many different cultures in us. That's why we can dance. That's why we can play ball, different balls. That's why we can do so many different things, because we're so many different people. Our Frankenstein created slaves. So again, A higher mind breaks you out of this so-called cycle of only being Frankenstein slaves. So higher mind is the runaway slave that works with higher God mind. That's why the Frankensteins want higher rights. That's why it was against the law to read certain things. You can't enslave a free mind. And you can be created in people's image. Well, let's look at Genesis what? Genesis 1:26. And God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. Man can be created in other images. Shout out to slave breeding. This man-made gender war can even be traced to the 1850s, 1860s, the 1920s, and most definitely the 1960s and the 1970s. Look all them dates up. I'm not going to do all the work for you. Many participators in this man-made gender war don't know history, don't know that the Willie Lynch letter, and know very little about racism. So they don't know about the Willie Lynch letter. They don't know about racism. They are believers of propaganda, marketing, and advertising. Jason, this is how I used to do it. I used to do people like this. I'm like, do you believe in the black patriarchy? And people are like, yes. And it's oppressive. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. White women turned against white patriarch, and they turned against it constantly. But you're saying black man said, hey, brothers, let's copy that patriarchal model because it's working out swell for them. That's what you're saying we did. Now, take a deep breath and think what I just said to you. I have talked to white men about this. White women don't play that white patriarchy. Are you serious? What? I don't play that. So all I'm telling you is, you telling me black man said, hey Jerome, hey Tyrone, let's do that because it's working for them. Or this is what we were doing when we were interacting back then during those times. Instead of you calling it black patriarchy, were we just surviving together? Were we surviving slavery and so-called white supremacy together? Watch this. With exceptional stories attached. That's for all the people that's going to be like, well, I know somebody that, I know a black patriarchy. Again, if you're calling that black patriarchy, you're copying off of. So due to so-called white supremacy in American history on slavery, black women always worked and always had good job security because they were slaves too, right? Or no? We never oppressed women and held them back from work. I'm telling you, when did we, okay, due to so-called white supremacy and American history on slavery, I didn't say Jason's history. I said American history on slavery. Black women always worked and always had a job security. I didn't say a good job. I said job security because they were slaves too, right? Or wrong? Don't listen to me. Check out the book, They Were Her Property, White Women as Slave Owners in the American South by Stephanie E. Jones Rogers. The book is $78.39, so it's kind of expensive. You won't be able to buy some shoes or a shirt or some pants. You'll only get knowledge on this man-made gender war. You won't be able to, like I said, get some shoes or something. Or if you're really expensive taste, shoestrings. So $78 would be the shoestrings of the expensive shoes that you. Okay, so watch this. Are you divided from opposite genders because your cutoff game is so strong? Have you ever met somebody that just had a cold cutoff game and they told you, I will cut you off. Oh, I cut them off. Oh, I be cut. Man, I will cut you off. Because we never looked at the or. Or is your cutoff game strong or is your communication weak? You know in school when the child can't read, they start acting up. They're cutting the teacher off. I'm acting bad. You ain't gonna ask me no questions. You gonna kick me out of this classroom. I'm getting kicked out of this class. You ain't gonna ask me to read in front of that girl I like. Please. And I'm trying to hang with them. You will not ask me to read. I'm cutting you off. Because I have weak reading skills. So is your cutoff game really strong or is your communication skills just really weak? I promise you. Anybody that you meet that just be cutting people off, study their communication skills. Study their ability, because I said weak. So think about the gym. What are you weak? Something that you don't use? Like your muscles? Oh, I get you saying weak communication. Oh, I don't have to communicate because I can cut you off. Is your cutoff game strong or is your communication weak? Does your daily behaviors, watch this, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, looking at, does your daily behaviors help the division? And are you helping the war when you argue with the opposite genders? And do you have any miscommunications with the opposite genders? Or any type of enmity against the opposite gender? If so, does this make you a participator in this gender divide? Shout out to you if you got a mean cutoff game. Weak communication skills. Excuse me, I coughed. Now, not too many people know this, but in the early 1500s in Germany, it was illegal for women to fart. Yeah, y'all go get this history. Not too many people know this. But in the early 1500s in Germany, it was illegal for women to fart. Shout out to you, already know who I'm talking to. My next question is, how will black men eventually be blamed for this oppressive law in Germany in the 1500s? It's coming. It's coming. Imagine growing up without your father's sperm or growing up without your mother's egg. That sounds weird, right? Please, please, I beg you, please tell me that sounds weird. Please, please. I'll say it again, so hopefully you'll say that's weird. If you said that's weird, I'm on your team. Imagine growing up without your father's sperm or growing up without your mother's egg. Keep my fingers crossed. That sounds weird, right? So growing up without a father and a mother in your life should sound very, very, very weird too. Should sound weird. Many people believe the gender divide happened in the 1960s when it was believed that welfare. Okay, look at welfare. Ooh, look at welfare looking good. Why are you talking to welfare like a man? Oh, because in the 1960s when it was believed that welfare could replace a husband or father, the families went downhill even faster from there. Is the so-called gender divide peer pressure too strong? And that's the question for women. Because I asked the same question for men who grew up in the 1980s, in the 1990s, and the early 2000s. Don't get it twisted. They had that little privilege. Treat every woman like mess. Now again, every woman you beef with is gonna naturally be like, well, you Shout out to probably only hearing one side of the story. Peer pressure. Without peer pressure, this gender divide couldn't exist because there's some people who don't want to be against the opposite. They literally are like, I'm not used to saying no to people. I could even be codependent, or I could just, I don't want to say no. I don't want to just, okay. I didn't do it. I didn't grow up like that. I actually was like, all right, y'all all be saying that behind the teacher's back. Come on, I'll say it. And this is how we feel, and this is how we feel, and who's with me? And I'm in here like Jerry Maguire. And I would still stay there because I believed it. They just believed it when the teacher wasn't looking. I believed it when the teacher looked at me. Men are dying, Jason. Men are going through this. What are men going to do? And how can man find a good woman? And how could man should care about their purpose more than women acting different? You trying to say he should care about a woman, his purpose more than a woman? No. Take the Tootsie Roll and peanut butter out of your ear. I said a man should care about their purpose. Men should care about their purpose more than women acting different. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay. I did have some peanut butter and Tootsie Rolls in there for years. So once a man truly knows who he is, I know who I am. Watch this. I'm too smooth to be embarrassed by that. He then knows, watch this, what he needs. All right, I know what I need. Once a man really knows what he needs because he knows who he is, this will allow him to see the true definitions of her different. Jason, what are you talking about? Her different. She's going to experience different. He's going to be so in tune to her, he's going to even be able to define her different. Jason, that's deep. No, it's not. He knows what he needs. So if he's going into a bar fight, I'm being sarcastic. If he wants to go in bar fights for the rest of his life, that's a dream job to him. And he sees a dime piece just looking all good, just super clean, no dirt in her nails, nothing. And it's another woman who just like punching the air and just picking up stuff and throw. Who should he date? Who should he date? Because he knows what he needs. And all his friends is like, bro, you gonna get rid of that dime piece, and you got this woman that look like Shrek's wife. Yes, because I look Shrek, and I need a green looking woman to rock with me the way I want to rock. Now again, please, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Have the ability to take that analogy and eat the meat and spit out the bones versus he was talking about women look like Shrek, and you're making up stuff. So, man should only care about their purpose more than women acting different. Once a man truly knows who he is, he then knows what he needs. I promise you, date according to what you need. This will allow him to see the true definitions of her different, which allows him to know her voice when she speaks. He'll even know her voice. So let's keep it low functioning. So back to the dude who wants the bar fighting woman. Oh, that was a download. Think about Tupac. It was number, I'm trying to say Me and My Girlfriend. I think it was number 9 on the Machiavelli album. I think it was number 9, song number 9. Remember, it started off with a woman saying, yeah, it's right. I'm just keeping it hot for you. I'm trying to take the cuss words out. But remember, she was the gun talking. So Tupac needed a gun, and if he heard a woman talk like that, he would be like, "Ooh, I could even hear her, even the way she speaks, and her energy when she's there and when she's not there. Ah, she's not there. And when she's there, but she should be feeling like that too, because if not, if you're only feeling like this in her energy, shout out to you being one of the energy vampires. Y'all both should be like, no, look. I played basketball today, and we're gonna talk about that later. I'm kind of mad about that. I played like Michael Jordan when he came back and played against the Pacers. That Jordan. So here we go. Okay, so we'll move past that one. So again, here we go. Many followers, they don't see futuristically. Think about it. You're following. You're following. The leader sees futuristically. The follower sees the leader who's seeing futuristically. So this is merely due to the followers following the actual futuristic leaders. So leaders don't have time to worry about what followers are currently doing to their current futuristic views of individuality or overall life. So again, if you're looking towards the future, or you're literally being like, man, I wonder what followers are doing. Everything that's been good to you has been this way. Watch this. Watch what I'm doing with my head. Now remember, when I keep my head focused this way, everything happens really good for me. That don't even sound right, right? And guess what followers do? I need some of that. So when you turn around and try to follow a follower, they're going to leave you when they meet a leader. That is super facts. That is super facts. So whoever goes against God and nature will lose this so-called man-made gender war. Don't believe me? Well, which one has been around longer? Which one has been around longer? Balance or unbalance? Which one has been around longer? Balance or unbalance? A gender war can't happen without copycat energy and copycat outcomes. And here's the plans against balanced people. Because you're right, balance has been around longer. So, okay, what's the plans against balanced people? Okay, here we go. Women are targeted with the dream, with the white collar dream, but you gotta go to war with your man, right? And then some people believe women won the battle of the sexes anyway. And some people believe that the powers to be even changed the rules and laws and customs to only suit women. So watch this. Women, you get this. Women, you get this. Women, you get this. If I was a woman, I'd be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now watch this. They're highlighting the women who are, okay, I was going to cuss. Okay. They're highlighting the women who are going hard at men. It's women out here that are saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and doing really right by it. If any of you are watching this or will ever watch this, please keep doing the right thing. I know you're not getting any type of airtime. I know. Watch this. You're not getting airtime with men, but you're getting airtime with balance. You're getting airtime with nature. Well, we all believe in different gods. You're probably getting airtime with the God you believe in. So just hold tight. You're probably not going to get a lot of shine right now. Your grandkids are probably going to love you. And your great grandkids are going to love you. You'll get a lot of shine with them. But you probably won't get a lot of shine now because think about it. We got to keep y'all divided. So women who are really good out here, they are not really getting a lot of shine. But the shine that will really last. You're going to get it. You're just not going to get it right now. So, the future belongs to those who have children. And that's just according to science. Because if you don't have children to repopulate, you're not going to... What future are we talking about? You know, they say the children are the future, right? So, this is partially because the ancient saying says, that which man do not protect does not survive, endure, or prosper. I didn't say that. And I'm throwing that out there again to spark conversations when we analyze this. But again, the so-called higher ups is teaching the man-made gender war participants, watch this, to never apologize. Don't apologize. And show no accountability. Now, again, I didn't say a man or a woman on here. I just said they're showing war participants, because this is happening on both sides, to never apologize or to show accountability. Now, many people believe the only way that this will be fixed is when a great civil unrest or a civil war happens. They say this will take something, like very traumatic for many empowered weirdos to strive for balance again. I don't know why y'all think balance is bounced. Balance has been here longer than this unbalance. And guess what? The unbalance that is happening now, there was an unbalance before this unbalance. And there was an unbalance before that unbalance that went out. But guess what stayed? Balance. Balance ain't going nowhere. Just because it ain't working right now, you must be out your mind. The gender divide grew in the 1960s, and it was never about equal rights. It was always been about control, punishment, and power. Sex is also being monetized in all forms now. And this is a warning. I wrote this in red. If sex work gets legalized and destigmatized in Western culture, then America can safely officially change its name to Babylon. You can literally do that. This man-made gender war will not end until the toxic relationship between government and women ends. Watch this. I said toxic relationship because this is another peanut butter and Tootsie Roll moment. And that's what I'm going to start doing. When I say stuff that causes Tootsie Roll and peanut butter problems, I'm going to stop there and make sure I unpack that. You know how you can unpack that and you can unpack that? The man-made gender war will not end until the toxic relationship between government and women ends. Now, study the relationships of government and women in different cultures, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'll let you do the work. Men are the leaders in life, and as long as we want women to solve our life's problems, we deserve to be disrespected. Your views should be so dope. She should be wanting to follow, because I keep saying this. I don't care what nobody say. All women are helpmeets. All women should start there. I'm telling you, I don't care. I will stand on my square today. I don't care. All women should start their own consulting firms. Let me tell you why. Because y'all all helpmates. Or helpmeets. Nuh-uh, I own my own business. What do you do for a living? Oh, I help people or I help in the medical field, or I help. If every woman started her own consulting firm, then guess, and said, only man can call me according to my help, then you can find your next man, I promise you. You can find your best friend. Because guess what? You're saying, I love helping this way. And guess what that man is saying? I love being helped this way. Is that why the boss-secretary relationship is so much more passionate than the boss-wife relationship? Yeah. Yeah, he likes his coffee like this. He likes his papers, facts like this. The secretary knows that, and the wife... No, let me stop there. Because now I dare you try to argue with me because I stopped there. But y'all see where I could go, but I didn't go there because there's some women who are not that. But you see where I'm going. The secretary, she studies the boss. She knows what he likes. They even say sometimes that's my work wife. But at the end of the day, the secretary knows more about like I said, the boss than the boss's wife or the boss's husband. That's an equal opportunist. Okay? So, here's some bars right here. I love this one. This man-made gender war was created for both parties to burn their kingdoms down. Watch this. This man-made gender war was created to burn, for both parties, to burn their kingdoms down. Here we go. And to rule in the ashes. Look how I'm standing. Look how prideful I'm standing. Look how I'm drinking my coffee. Look how I'm drinking my coffee in the ashes. I'm even making a sipping sound. Everything is burning around me. I lost everything. But I won the war. This is how therapists be being when they don't want you to don't want to say you doing something stupid. I hear you. That's nice for, I don't hear none of that. But okay, let me move on. So, one way to tell what side is being played is to pay attention to that person's cooperation in and out all things. Cooperation is a telltale sign. Seriously. Again, if you want to see what side a person is taking in the so-called gender war, study their cooperation on anything. Cooperation don't lie. Now, the so-called black gender war was created and propagated by the same groups who initially attack and destroy black families. Last time I checked, this man-made gender war against the former slave owners of America while blacks were surviving oppression. So again, this gender war was not our war, according to history. Now watch this, the haters want to talk. Can we say something again? Yes. Well, those black families had problems too. Nobody's perfect. That is a deflective tactic. That is not a conversation about reach perfection. This is not a conversation about reach perfection. When did I say, let's talk about reached perfection? Since you said nobody's perfect. When did I talk about reached perfection? Seriously. Yeah, Jason, you weren't talking about reached perfection. So why did you say nobody's perfect? Which means that this is the wrong time. But again, this is perfect timing for you to say something deflective. So this is going to be a hot summer in many, many ways. So remember the hot girl summer? They was trying to push strippers. They was trying to push call girls, prostitution, porn stars. They was trying to push all of that on there. And that makes a person, that changes a person in their head, right? That changes their relationships. That changes their marriages. That makes them single in their mind due to their possible pair bonding and energy connection issues they created for themselves during that so-called hot girl summer, hoe phase, hot summer, whatever, hot boy summer, whatever you want to call it, whatever. When you do that, you create possible pair bonding and energy connection issues that you created for yourself. But they plan to ruin larger groups of women with so-called hoe culture. I said they plan to ruin large groups of women. Nuh-uh, we just putting it out there. We ain't making them do it. I'm just telling you. They know that this behavior traps the participant into their man-made gender wars and battles. Like I said in my last video, what's the word video? Words are powerful spells and curses. They give life to speech. We are not in a gender war. 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 Many of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents were in gender wars by the buck wenches and bed wenches that worked against the balanced men and balanced women of those times. They participated in the created gender war and destroyed the image of both sides for decades. So again, I don't even know why I'm mad at women. No, sir, you're mad at the women you interacted with. And it usually turns on with the first women you date. Your first love. That's what it is dating and being married in America. You're gonna pay for how pissed a person is about the people that they loved. You're gonna just pay for that. So, your great grandparents and all them, they participated in the created gender war that destroyed the image of both sides for decades. Talk about us. We're merely living in the response age. I've talked to so many people who are mad at other genders because older people are mad at other genders. Older people are keeping the gender divide going, and this is only due to my ability to read history. What they did was a gender war. Remember, what they did was a gender war. What we are doing is a response to it. What they did was a gender war. What we are doing is a response to it. This so-called gender war has many ingredients of reverse racism. Is the online gender war more powerful than the wars in person? The law of duality gives everyone a shot for power. So you know that, right? Everybody's getting their shot. Everybody's getting their shot. But the truth allows you to stay in power. Long time. All participants and participators in this man-made gender war, all participators and all participants in this man-made gender war are one with devil energy. Many of them were hurt and are mad and refuse to grow. Now, that's not speaking for everybody. I'm already going to talk for the people that's going to see this. I ain't talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. Yeah, that's it. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. But I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about all of them. If you try to make sense of that, y'all crazy. That was just a way for me to be like, I'm not talking about you. Because think about it, when people see something, they like, you ain't talking about me. All participants and participators in this man-made gender war are one with devil energy. Many of them were hurt and are mad and refuse to grow. Remember, every war has a goal. This particular goal was reached long time ago. We are not in a gender war anymore. We are the children of the post-gender wars. We are history soldiers. We are fighting the lies from his stories. The gender war is over, so what is the next war then? We'll talk about that soon. I'm going to close it here. Thank you for joining me for another Sunday Bars presentation. Looking forward to building with you next time. Let's work. Peace and love.